Ways my ADHD presents as a Black woman who was late diagnosed with both ADHD and autism. I was diagnosed with inattentive ADHD. Inattentive ADHD does tend to be late diagnosed often. It tends to be a lot more internal. I've always been a big daydreamer. If you are familiar with maladaptive daydreaming, I am an only child, so that was a big part of my childhood. But constant racing thoughts. I wake up with a million thoughts. I go to bed with a million thoughts, needing to stimulate myself in some way to help myself fall asleep, like having the TV on, having a fan on. I cannot fall asleep with complete silence because my brain is always going. Forgetfulness is a huge one. Texting back, forgetfulness in birthdays, names, when things are due, when to start things. Hypersensitivity. I've always been a super sensitive person, and I definitely deal with rejection sensitivity. That's something with people with ADHD tend to deal with, and I always thought that was a me problem. I always thought that I just always took things personally. It was my ADHD. Being lazy. I used to think I was just lazy. I used to just like try to hide the fact that I was like an undercover lazy girl, but like ambitious. No, it was just my ADHD. Executive dysfunction is a real problem. It is disabling. Being unmotivated. I hear people talk about how you just need to be disciplined and how you just need to get over not being motivated, but ADHD brains and bodies actually do not work that way. We actually don't. So for my entire life, I've been trying to treat myself and holding myself to these standards that are neurotypical, which unintentionally had me pushing myself past my limits often, or feeling lazy, unmotivated, and like it was a me problem, when really there was something else going on. My brain just works differently. And the number one symptom that I experience with my ADHD is anxiety. A lot of women go underdiagnosed with ADHD, especially inattentive ADHD, because it presents as anxiety. Constantly anxious with all the thoughts going on in our head, constantly worrying about things, constantly not being able to show up how we want, and constantly struggling harder than others to show up in a normal way without even knowing it. Receiving my ADHD diagnosis was not very easy. I definitely felt very gaslit by a lot of doctors. I think what really benefited me was keeping track of the way I was feeling throughout the month, every single month, regardless if I was on my period or not. And also seeing a psychiatrist who specializes in adults with ADHD and autism. That's very important. Don't let people gaslight you, especially those who are only familiar with and agree with the diagnostic criteria for men and boys who are white. I would love to know what your struggles are with ADHD, especially if you're late diagnosed. What were the reasons why you were like, okay, let me go get a diagnosis? In the next video, I want to go over the way that my autism presents as a Black woman with late diagnosed ADHD and autism, because they're different and they do overlap. We'll get to that too.